Okay.
Well, welcome, and it's another Wednesday. So Wednesday means doing sport differently. I'm Steve Pallas, and as I always say, I'm really, really pleased to be joined today by our special guest. And today it's Helen Dorning from Dragon Abreast in Ballarat. Helen, welcome to you.
Welcome and good morning. Good to be part of it.
Yeah, it's great. I was just saying off air that for a long time I've wanted to tell the breast cancer survival angle of dragon boat and introduce dragon boat racing more generally to the sports community. So, do you want to just give us a little bit of background to the Ballarat Dragon Boat Racing Club, and particularly with the Abreast portion of the club?
Okay, well, the club's been existent since 2005 after a couple of local breast cancer girls in Ballarat saw a ABC program on Dragons Abreast in Australia, and they were very excited and contacted a few people, and people came up and we had expressions of interest, and that's how it all started. Because I mean, women are pretty awesome anyway, and you get in some breast cancer survivor women and they're even more awesome. And, you know, they're all in about making it the best possible thing that women can be doing. And there's also breast cancer men as well involved. And that started in 2005. And like I was saying, we didn't have any water in Lake Windaree. You could walk a lot over it. So we were really happy and fortunate to be able to connect with Geelong, Dragons Abreast Geelong, and Dragons Abreast Ballarat, which is about an hour and 20 drive. So girls would carpool and go down and meet up with their teams there.
I love the fact, and all clubs ultimately are started by one or two people that took the initiative, had the courage to put it out there, and people are often just shocked when other people have a similar interest and get on board. So that's very similar to last week with the softball discussions. So if you're thinking you're wanting to get involved in a sport, then it only takes one person. Yes. But Dragon Boat, more than any other sport that I know of, has really linked itself to being a really productive, positive angle or avenue for breast cancer survivors to engage with life post breast cancer. That's a conscious thing of the sport, isn't it?
Yes. Well, it started back in '96 in Canada by Don McKenzie, who was a medical sports therapist, and he had women coming to him post mastectomy. And back in those days, I'm a registered nurse, and back in those days, after women had a mastectomy, we were just told to wrap ourselves up in cotton wool and never do anything ever again. You know, wasn't good for us. And he just thought, no, that's not good. So he had a group of women, a 3-month trial of getting them fit, learning to paddle in the boat, and 3 months later they were fitter, healthier. There was no irritation with their lymphedema, which was a big thing back then because they used to take all the nodes out of your armpit. And these women just thought, we're not going to stop just because the research program's finished. So they started a team called Breast in the Boat, and now it's worldwide.
It is worldwide, and it's, again, that one person just making a difference is extraordinary, and it is worldwide. How many, I guess, groups or clubs in Dragon Boat would you think in Australia have been formed around the breast cancer support
program? There's 29 groups currently in all states and territories except Northern Territory, which is where it started, but there's not a team up there at the moment. There's a Dragon Boat team that does have breast cancer survivors in it, and I've been out puzzling with them, with the crocodiles. No. But all states and territories, obviously along the east coast, New South Wales and Queensland, it's because that's where a lot of the older, generation of women who tend to have the breast cancer are, and because of the weather promotes that kind of activity up on the east coast of New South Wales and Queensland.
So we might just go back a little bit because a Dragon Boat doesn't get a lot of airplay, really. So Dragon Boat racing, many of our viewers in our community wouldn't even know what Dragon Boat racing is. So what is Dragon Boat racing?
Well, it's a big boat. It can hold 22 people, a drummer at the front, 10 flat seats that hold 2 per person, and then the person at the back It's called the sweep or the oars person, and they help keep it in a straight line and yell out commands and stuff. They do race with tens, so there's half the boat full, and it can be raced over 200, 250, a kilometre, 2 kilometres, and they do all sorts of other events in dragon boating. And you go to the start and they yell and you just paddle like mad to the finish.
Pedal like mad. I'm just bringing up the Dragons Abreast Ballarat webpage. I'm just there's an example of the boat there, and as we're talking, I'll
that's
bring
probably
up
down at the Barwon when we first started. That looks like the Barwon there with us getting in the boat. Yeah.
So it's the long boat, many competitors in the boat. The drummer, it's like the movies, the drummer at the front yelling commands, and that's called the sweep. Obviously, that's the role.
The sweep is the person standing at the back. The drummer's got a seat, and they beat to the stroke of the people paddling, and then the person at the back stands up with a big stick and keeps it straight and yells. Because I'm looking forward like everybody else. So, yeah, that's the Dam Busters picture, I think, that you've just put up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see
yeah. But it's amazing. And, you know, you talk to breast cancer survivors and they think, if you told me I would be doing dragon boating at my age, you know, it's like, oh, but, you know, they wouldn't be doing anything else.
This is where I was going to go because, and I'll just bring us back up to full size, but dragon boat racing is not even, don't worry about racing, just worry about moving the thing forward. It's not easy. It's physically challenging. Why do you think that gravitated to cancer survivors as a recreation?
Well, I think one is because it's not an individual sport. It takes a whole team to get the boat moving. And I think as part of being a breast cancer survivor, being a part of a group gives you the camaraderie. You know, you can have a bad day. It doesn't really matter. We're all there. We've all been in the same boat, even though a diagnosis is a diagnosis, but everybody has a different experience of that, whether, you know, with treatment, diagnosis, you know, how long it takes you, how old you are, what kind of support you have, what kind of family situation, all those things make a huge difference in how you survive something like that. And unfortunately, we have lost members, breast cancer survivor members in that, but we're also able to support their families in that, through that, as well as each other. And so fitness is really good. Breast cancer awareness is really good. It gives us a really good way of promoting breast cancer awareness in the community because we're seen to be doing something positive and physical, and, you know, participation, inclusiveness, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And do you think it is that it's also a sport that not many people, you know, compared to, you mentioned AFL before, so therefore when you come out of breast cancer and it's something that people aren't going to judge you against because they don't do it themselves. It's got this, as you say, boatloads, camaraderie, support, similar journeys. It's that connectiveness, isn't it?
Yes. Well, we used to have North Melbourne used to be affiliated with Ballarat for quite a while, and they used to come up and do some community work with us. And a few of them came out in the boat with us a couple of times, and they just were exhausted when we finished it. They said, "You ladies are awesome. That is such hard work." So
it's extraordinary hard work. I still think back to the Canadian that thought that of all the choices in all the sports that he chose dragon boat as the option.
Well, he was a professional canoeist. He represented Canada in canoeing. So, but he knew that canoeing, you could only fit 1 or 2 people in a boat. So that wasn't really what he wanted to do. So the next best thing, well, that included his expertise of paddling, was a dragon boat.
Oh, fantastic. So when you started the club, or when the club was started, I would have thought there was a few challenges. Again, another barrier with dragon boat racing is it's not like footy. You just get an oval and you get a footy and cost you $20 and off you go. I mean, A, your lake didn't have water for a start, but B, dragon boats aren't cheap, you know, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000.
Yeah, they are. And it's not just the boat, it's all the paddles. In Victoria, we have to wear PFDs, personal flotation devices. And so everybody in the boat has to have one of those. Insurances, getting the boat to and from. So you need trailers and insurances and we need to be members of a body of people. So we're a member of 3: Dragons Abreast Australia, Dragon Boat Victoria, and then AusDBF.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened first? Did you get the equipment first, or did you get the people, like back in the day?
The people first, and we would commute to Geelong and Bendigo. One of our primary members, his family made a wooden boat in Melbourne, in the boat sheds in Melbourne, and they brought us a wooden boat up before we had water. And since then, we've had a couple of other new boats that are lighter, but they still weigh like 320 kilos, so they're not light.
You could have gone in the early stages, like the Todd River regatta in Alice Springs.
Yeah, well, we did have a material one that dragon boat that we used for things like Relay for Life, that we used to just walk in, and we could do that on the lake if we wanted to. Yeah,
fantastic.
But it's pretty good.
So go back those years when it first started. How did you go from 2 people with a really cool idea to a club the size, a really strong club the size of the Dragons Abreast Ballarat club now? What did you do, and how was it received by the community?
Well, there was, because it is a little, it's not in a big city, so it's a community of Ballarat. So people knew people, people who were breast cancer survivors knew people because of their support groups that were around. The local shire was really helpful. The local newspaper would come and do, photo shoot and let people know. We would have come and try days where, people from other clubs helped us calm and get other people interested and keen on doing the sport.
Did you say calm? They come and calm other people? So, because that's where I was going to go anyway, even if you didn't say calm, was that how do people, okay, so I'm a breast cancer survivor and doing a physical activity with a group of other breast cancer survivors that can relate to my journey, I absolutely see that as a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. I want to get out. I want to get physical. I want to get social. I want to live again. I live my life again without the shackles of treatment, etc. But then you say, oh, yeah, but by the way, you got to do this thing called Dragon Boat, which you probably don't even know about, and you sure as hell probably don't even know how to do. Are they not anxious, apprehensive? Aren't they scared?
Oh, some women don't even like being on water. Some people say can't even swim.
Yeah.
But that's what's so good, because we're like, women are good at supporting each other, and the pink movement amongst women, that's what we do, and that's what we do really, really well. And there's strong personalities in all groups, but breast cancer survivors, we're made of pretty strong, tough stuff. And so in amongst all that, we can relieve people's anxiety. They can do as little or as much as they want to do. Just getting in the boat and experience the boat moving, even without paddling. They can just sit in the boat and move with the boat because there's enough people to paddle around them and experience it. And you really don't know what anything's like until you experience it.
So is it a big step to get them from the bank? Let's assume there's water in the lake. Let's get them from the bank into the dragon boat for the first time, or?
Well, for some people, they're really excited and you can't hold them back. And then for some people, fear and trepidation of anything new. And that's what I said, part of the group, we help them in, we help them out, we make sure that somebody sits next to them that's been in the boat before to talk them through it, to remember to breathe, because when you're trying something new, you hold your breath and you forget to breathe, just simple things, and keeping people calm. And then if they really freak out, we can bring them back. So, but we haven't had really that happen, but it's an opportunity and available for them.
I love that comment. It's just the simple things, because when you think about what can go wrong, getting in and out of the boat and being the person that falls into the river, the river or the lake, and embarrassing oneself when you don't know a group of people, they're big ticket items for people that are just trying the sport for the first time. So that, I mean, you called them little things, but they're huge to people just trying things for the first time, aren't they?
Yeah, well, we don't just, let's say, get in the boat and go. We all do training sessions beforehand. We do safety drills. We fit them with the PFD. We fit them with appropriate size paddle. We talk to them about the rare chance of it rolling over, which I've only ever been in one in 15 years of paddling, and that wasn't our fault. But so you try to, like, if they express any fears, you try to relate to that and talk them through that and all that. Yeah, so there's lots of things we can do to help with that.
How big is the club, like from a participation point of view?
Well, at the moment, because we've been off the water for so long, it's really hard to keep an eye on it. But we're very fortunate that we can also, there's two other dragon boat clubs in Ballarat, but we have a beautiful relationship with one of them called the Golden Dragons. And so between the two of us, we get a boat full and we can go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the activities that you're doing? So I'm assuming that predominantly it's social, is it, or predominantly training, or what is it?
Well, during because Ballarat, we have such a cold, windy season, and Lake Windaree can be really fickle, and you can go out there when it's really flat. You don't like surfing in a boat, or if the gusts, the wind, because they can take you fairly quickly if it's gusty. But during the daylight savings, which starts next week, and we actually can get in our boat on this Saturday. We've been given permission, so we train Saturday morning and Tuesday evening during daylight savings. For the time we've been off the water, the girls meet Saturday morning. We walk around the lake, which is about a 6K walk, and then have coffee. So we try to keep our exercise. We've had sort of on and off exercise regimes in the boat shed, but we always try to keep something going, even if it's social, so that the relationships that you make, you keep them together by keep meeting, even if it's over coffee.
So social's the foundation of the club?
It's a big part of it, but I mean, our prime purpose is to be dragon boating.
So do you race? Like, do you race, and how often are you racing?
Yes. Well, Dragon Boat Victoria have races. They have regattas. We haven't had any this year, obviously, because of COVID. But we, as a team, have competed in lots of regattas all over Australia. Last year, a group of us went to Kununurra, and we paddled the Ord River from the Lake Argyle Dam wall into Kununurra, which is about 54 k's in the day. Some of us have competed and represented Victoria, which is, a sports event. I did that quite a few years. I qualified to represent Victoria, and there's been a few of us to do that. So there's an International Breast Cancer Paddling Commission who are worldwide, and every 3 to 4 years we have regattas. The last time we were in Florence in 2018, so we competed there with over 200 teams worldwide.
Are those competitions kind of graded, so it's not just the elite that's going to those competitions?
You don't have to qualify to go. If you can paddle, you paddle in a team. But during the time you have 4 races over 2 days, which is 500-meter races. And so the first day they sort of grade people. So by the end of the regatta, you're racing against sort of people who are the same kind of level of competition, because there are very, very good breast cancer dragon boats worldwide who compete continuously. They do amazing things, and they're amazing sportswomen and men.
Yeah. Just going back to Kununurra, just while you're talking, I've been to Kununurra, and I know exactly where you were paddling. I don't understand necessarily how you get a dragon boat, which is 20-odd meters long, to Kununurra from Ballarat.
Well,
given the Kununurra in the Pilbara in WA.
No, dragon boat. They have a dragon boat club up there, which they have 10 dragon boats, and there was about 8 of them. And teams from over Australia went, and we met at Kununurra. They took us to the wall, the dam wall, and we got into the boats and paddled down the rapids, across yeah, good.
Fantastic.
It's
So
really
that
good.
that kind of traveling camaraderie and
Yeah.
it seems to be a really important part of it, and always having something cool to look forward to as well.
Yes. Yes. Well, we've got New Zealand in 2022, in March 22. That's our next international paddling. We're all focused on that and getting ready for that. And
So
Ballarat's going to have their own team for the first time, so that's pretty cool.
fantastic. So a new member, now that you're established within the community, are new members being referred to you by breast cancer support services, or how does it?
Yeah, we have a really good relationship with the McGrath nurses. There's two of
Yep.
them in Ballarat, and when they have their sort of open seminar days, a couple of us are invited to speak at the end of the day, just to let them know what's out in the community. And it might not just be Dragon Boating, it might be other support groups we're a part of, or just
Yep.
be aware that Dragon Boating's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and particular GPs, surgeons, yeah, the breast
So
cancer support groups.
So, what are the challenges that you've had along the journey in creating the club and then continuing again, ignoring COVID and the obvious lack of water in Lake Windaree in Ballarat, and the sub-zero temperatures from March onwards? But what are the challenges that you've had in getting the club up and established and really creating the value that it does for your community?
I just think even though we do a really good job of getting out there and making community awareness, there's still a lot of people who don't even know what dragon boating is. There's
Yes.
a lot of people who still don't know that we exist. So, we think we've done a really good job, and then we talk to people and they go, oh, I don't even know you, didn't know you were there, didn't know you existed, or I've seen you paddling on the boat, but didn't really know how to get connected to that. So I think communication's always been,
Yeah.
I think that's easy with anything. You might have somebody who's come and not enjoyed it, and they've spoken to other people. So communication is a huge part of that. You've got to have people who are positive, sending out a good positive message out there. We have come and try days that we try to promote and get people out on the water. So just getting, and I suppose individually too, once you've had diagnosis of breast cancer, some people want to just not just get on. And I mean, I had my breast cancer way back in 2001, and it was quite a few years before I even wanted to be out there. Like, the people who knew me knew, but I
Yeah.
certainly didn't want to be out there promoting anything publicly about it, because I just wanted to get on. And I'm
Yes.
thinking, well, I've survived this, and there's some really good things happening out there, and you can be out there and be a part of it. So I think it ebbs and flows. Sometimes we're having really good years with lots of people and lots of exciting things happening, and then, ebb and flow. But I think keeping the communication going, the interest going, yeah.
And just a couple more questions, because I'm really, really conscious of your time. But on the communication theme, Ballarat, a large regional city in Victoria, that means you've got the opportunity to get the local newspapers and the local TV. How do you actually? A lot of clubs have trouble cracking into that and getting airtime or media time, etc. How do you actually approach the TV and the radio and or newspaper and get that space for Dragon Boat?
Well, I think because a lot of the people here have been Ballarat people all their lives, so they've got family connections or, friend connections that within the television and radio. We've got a really good relationship with the two local radio stations here, and I've done interviews on there, especially when they've the Ballarat station has the first of the month, check your breasts, and I've been on that a couple of times. So over the years, you just develop the relationships with those people. And so if we have a special event or something happening, we can ring them up and say, hey, we're doing this. Do you want to come around and take photos? Or we can take photos and send it into them to do an article or something about what we're doing.
So when you do that, when you've reached out to them because you've got the relationship, how do they receive that positively, or do they receive it like?
Yeah, they do. No, they do. I think, breast cancer support has a huge, it's one of those cancers that, it's somebody's mother, auntie, sister, wife, daughter. It's a very emotional thing, and so it tends to be really well supported. And I think women traditionally have been out there doing that as well, promoting it and getting out there. So I think it's not a hard issue to address for most people.
Yeah. Fantastic. So where to from the club? For the club, post-COVID, obviously get back on the water this weekend, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah, we're very excited about that.
Yeah, other parts of the country are already racing again. So
yeah,
but where to from the club kind of next year and beyond?
Well, like I said, we're going to be focused on getting to New Zealand in 2022. So that's all about getting us nice and fit and ready to compete, and also doing fundraising so that we can help support people with registration and accommodation while we're over in New Zealand, because a lot of breast cancer survivors are at an age where they're not working or being supported by financial things. So that will be focused, but we'll be focused on getting back in the boat, focused on letting the community know we're back in the boat. And at the moment there's heaps of people walking around the lake, and so if we're out there in our boat drumming, we have a sign out the front of the boat shed when we're out, so that people can pick up a pamphlet. If they walk past there, they can pick it up and find out a little bit of information how to contact us.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, if we can help in that journey at any time, Helen, then we'd love to tell your story and keep in touch, because I think it's a dragon boat's a phenomenal sport. It's
an amazing sport, and it's something I wouldn't have ever thought about. I mean, I did do some kayaking and stuff in my youth, but yeah, to be on the water, there's nothing quite like being on the middle of the lake with the pelicans and the swans. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
One of your closest friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's wonderful. So, Helen, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us and the journey of the Dragons Abreast Ballarat Club. It's a fantastic journey, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about it.
Oh no, thank you. It's one of the benefits of working with sports communities. We just get to meet amazing people doing amazing things. So you just join a long list of people, and not just yourself, Helen, but your club doing amazing things. And we love to tell the stories. So
thank you very much.
So it's a big, we'll kind of start to roll back the momentum of sports community live streams, where we've taken a 3 or 4 weeks where we've just done a couple of live streams each week. But over the next couple of weeks, we'll get back to those 4 or 5 interviews a week, which is really exciting as we get into the summer months. So nothing tomorrow, but on Friday.
Nothing like motivation like the sunshine.
Well, exactly. And it's been a long winter for everyone involved in sport, to be honest. So we had to take breaks where we could. But what do we got this week? Esport Friday, which as per normal, I have no idea what we're doing. And then lots of cool guests coming next week and beyond. So, Helen, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Steve Pallas, and thank everybody for being part of our sports community.
Thank you.